to episode 2 of Win or Learn. My name is Paul of PGGS Music, and today my guest is Maisie from the band Dagger. They had a cracking EP come out last year, Songs to Fight the Gods To, and they've got a very big show coming up at time of recording next week, where they will be headlining the Leadmill, which is going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to the show. Maisie, thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great today. Very busy with so many different things. How are you doing today, Paul?
Doing all right, apart from this little husky cough that we talked about beforehand, but other than that, it's doing okay. So, yes, I'm looking forward to the aforementioned theatrics for the show, but let's not spoil any of the content. So, in terms of the premise of the show, as I've explained on the pilot in the first episode, it's about victories and lessons from life as a aspiring musician, trying to push through and break through and establish themselves as a name. So, in terms of wins and learns, did you want to start with a win or with a learn? What do you think?
Let's start with a win.
Cool.
Start on a high. Yeah. The first win, I would like to go for the recent EP that you just spoke about, Songs to Fight the Gods To, which was just a kind of a turning point for us, I think. We just come fresh off of bringing out a mixtape.
Yep.
Which was a really nice way of just kind of, we'd been doing everything that we wanted to do up until that point, where we wrote and brought out absolutely anything that we could think of. So we just compiled that into one mixtape. That was a really nice way to just kind of clear the catch. So the EP's been a bit of a new era for us, where we have really sort of tried to level up. And so far so good. We got to work with Neil Kennedy, he's produced loads of our favourite bands, like especially first albums. He's done loads of that. And then we also, off the back of the EP, got to sign with Silent Cult, and they have been absolutely fantastic to work with.
Fantastic. So it sounds like we were talking a little bit before we started recording about the fact, the whole it takes a long time to be an overnight success type thing. So how was the process for recording the album? Did you do it here, or here at I should have mentioned, I bet the Dagger HQ currently. So
yeah, the Dagger Dojo.
Yeah. So was it here, or did you go to somewhere else? Or
yeah, so we wrote and demoed everything here. Everything that we had done before the EP, we had completely self-produced, which was a great learning curve. Completely new territory for all of us.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually recording the EP, we went to Neil Kennedy's studio at the ranch. So we lived there for just over a week. Surrounded by horses and fields and not much else. And we did the whole thing in about 7 days, and it was the best experience.
Fantastic. Where in the world is that then?
It's Southampton.
Okay.
Yeah, a long way from Sheffield. But it was great. It was great.
It's only not a place I think of having ranches, but there you go. So
yeah, it was the middle of the countryside. I was surprised as well. I thought it was. I don't know. I don't know what I thought. It wasn't that. But it was really nice.
Fantastic. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the EP's fantastic, which I've already said to you when we did the HMV show, which was great fun. How was it in terms of? You said that obviously this has been a bit of a levelling up for this one. Did that include like the songwriting process? Did you do a bit more kind of editing? Were you a bit kind of stricter with yourselves, or?
So we, like I said, we'd been self-producing for a really long time. So we learned a lot that way. For this EP, we wrote a bunch of songs and cut it down to 5. And what we did was we demoed to the kind of quality that we were releasing at. So the demos were as good as the songs that we were releasing as our singles up to this point.
Yeah.
So then from there, we were like, it can only be up from here. As well as Neil just being a fantastic producer. There's no doubt about it. He's really great. Like, we were really lucky to work with him as well. He's someone that we wanted to work with for ages, and then we got an email from him saying, do you have any time to come down and do this? And we were like, oh my god, absolutely. We'll clear our schedule.
So it sounds like a pinch me as it was really happening.
Yeah, exactly. It really was. And it kind of didn't align for a really long time. And then we found a time where we had some stuff written, and he had time for us, and yeah, it worked out, and it was great.
Happy days. Does that mean there's a little kind of repertoire of things that haven't been put out there yet? That may be like bonus tracks type thing, or
no? We're really we're really bad at once we've written in a cycle, anything that doesn't get used is dead to us. That's it. It's gone. So there's about, well, I mean, just for the EP, there's about 30 songs that will never see the light of day. So
there you go. Well, no, sometimes you've got to separate the wheat from the chaff.
If anyone wants to hack our demo folder, I don't know why they still exist, but they're in our drive. So
there you go. Fantastic. And I like the fact as well that given you've done 5 songs, that you've basically done like videos for pretty much every song as well, haven't you? Hopefully I'm not treading on any points you're going to talk about in a bit.
No, I mean that's it. That was my next win, so we can move on to the next win.
Perfect. Unintentional segue.
Yeah, it was great. The next win was the video making process, which once again, just working with people that we've always wanted to work with. So we worked with Aaron Mackenzie on all 4, soon to be 5.
Awesome.
I'm going to be told off for saying that, but yeah, soon to be 5 videos for the EP. So he's someone that we grew up listening to, Aaron Mackenzie, While She Sleeps, which is a great guy. And we started working with him a while back on, I think Hexed was the first video that we worked with him on. And then we got in touch to do these EP tracks, and we sent him all the stuff, like, before it was mastered or anything. He was like, yeah, this is great, let's do it. So yeah, we've been working with him for all of those, and it's been incredible.
Fantastic. So I know you've done, obviously you did Title Fight, you've done Phantoms, you've done Stigmata. Oh yeah, and all the kind of the alternative versions as well. The spooky version of Stigmata. Stigmata, as I said to you before, Stigmata is one of my favourites on the album. That and Collapse.
Thank you.
So having that kind of slightly almost like a dark country version type thing.
Yeah, someone told me Stigmata felt like walking into a hidden speakeasy and it's full of ghosts. And I was like, that's great. I love that.
Ties with the themes of the album as well.
There you go. Yeah, it was great.
Excellent. So does that mean it's Collapse that's on the horizon?
Yes.
Excellent stuff.
It is. You heard it here first.
Awesome. Breaking news. It's fine. This will come out next week, so you got time to apologise. Excellent. And I like the particularly with, because I've seen all the videos, and I like the fact that a lot of times when people like release like multiple ones of the same EP, it'll be like they'll use the same kind of spot, but they'll like tweak it in different ways, where you've gone like, no, we're gonna have this kind of set for this, kind of the studio setup for this. So was that a conscious decision, or was that from the kind of back and forth you've had with videographer?
I don't think it was conscious. We were quite, I want to say, ad hoc with the videos. The first one, You Should Have Known Better, that's got like 5 different locations in just the one video. And we filmed that over a few days. What a great experience though. That was my favourite video to film. Like, it was really silly. There's one part where I've got completely like blank white eyes and the contacts wouldn't let me see anything. So I was just like being guided around the studio, because we were lucky enough to have like a full sort of studio set up to like make it look like a bedroom, have like a studio. And I just had to sit and behave and be like moved around by people. I was like, can I have a drink? So yeah, that was great. And then we did Stigmata was the next one, and we filmed that all over Sheffield. That again was filmed over a few days, because that's got loads of different locations of me just kind of running around the city. Yeah. And then that ties into Ghosts, which is filmed in one location. Filmed in one location, completely different. And Title Fight was not to ruin the magic, but that was filmed in our studio as well.
Oh, can you play?
Yeah, but they all tie in if you look closely enough. They're all interconnected. So.
Brilliant! So you can follow like, the arc of the album.
A little bit, yeah. They're not sort of. There's a little bit of narrative that we kind of talk about amongst ourselves, but the little connections are there if you look hard enough.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
And one thing that's just dawned on me as well, with you being the singer, do you end up doing a bit more of the kind of, not to obviously throw shade at the boys, but I'm guessing that a lot of the onus ends up on you in terms of like kind of action and things like that, rather than them. I can't imagine like Ross running around with his drum kit or running around town with a snare or something. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, for You Should Have Known Better, I had to get in a lake in the dead of winter.
Yeah, I saw that. That was ballsy. Yeah.
We were in there for hours as well, and I had to keep going like under the water. I had to be like fully submerged. Thankfully, like me and Lewis go wild swimming quite often with Lois, his lovely partner. So it was kind of okay, but when you're in there for hours, you really get the shakes.
I can imagine, but at least you've had some kind of initiation or training to lead up to it. I can't imagine jumping straight in there straight away if that'd been.
Yeah, it was just like I've just got to get in the water. The problem is I often put myself in these situations, and I'm like, I've just got this vision of me being in a lake with a massive, great background.
Yeah.
And then when I'm getting in the lake, I'm like, why did I need to say that? I could have been like, I've got visions of me like just sitting, playing with puppies, and like eating beautiful cake. Like that could be my vision, but it's not. It's like, I'm definitely like throwing up horrible blue goo and like getting in the water in winter. Like
I'm imagining the internal dialogue you're having with past Maisie going, damn it!
Why would we do this?
Brutal. Yeah, well, I'm glad that leaned through nicely. So in terms of talking about the EP, talking about the videos, was there anything else on those wins you want to talk about, or is it time to delve into some learns, do you think?
I think the last one was just, we've had a really kind of a big like audience growth this year. I would say that sounds horrible. Audience growth. It's not a growth. But yeah, you know what I mean. We've had we've really kind of like the numbers have gone up on all the socials and everything, which we're really grateful for, and that's really just down to working with the right people. I think working with Aaron on the videos, especially like our YouTube subscriptions after that first video for the EP, they went up by like something like 30 times. Like it was crazy, and that's really down to working with Neil for the audio and Aaron for the visuals. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely falls in line with that levelling up that you were talking about as well. In terms of the kind of like the critical reception, I know that you've had a really positive response on the socials, and people obviously, you say the audience has been growing. Audience growth, that's going to stick with me now. It's stuck in my head now.
I've got to go see a doctor.
How has it been in terms of the kind of like the media critical side of things? Has that been as equally warm?
Yeah. You mean in terms of like reviews, or
like the radios and the magazines and all that kind of stuff?
We got on. I feel like when I do things like this, I literally just pluck the things out of my brain that made me really stoked. One of those things is we were in the Kerrang charts.
Awesome.
Which, as somebody who grew up in the age of emo and pop punk and being like 15 and literally having Kerrang on 24/7 and Scuzz, that was just a dream come true. Like it was almost one of those like, all right, tools down, guys, we're done. Like, we're in Kerrang, it doesn't matter anymore.
We've peaked.
we peaked, and like it was all my favourite bands. It was like Burn With Your Eyes and was #1, and like Creeper was on there, and I was just like, I think that's it. I think I'm done here. I don't know what I use. No, but stuff like that's been really good. We've had loads of really great reviews from so many just like fantastic sources. So yeah, it's been great.
Excellent. It's really great to hear. So hopefully that bodes well for whatever kind of you got planned next. So
yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I think that's the scary thing is when you've had a win. There's you can go up, but you can go down as well. Yeah.
I suppose it must be that kind of point that's, obviously, I imagine saying with a lot of bands that you kind of follow for a long time, some of them end up kind of just like copy-paste once they reach a certain point. Or some of them go, that worked really well, let's try something way over here.
Yeah, and it works out really great or dire.
Yeah.
So... yeah, it's a fun middle ground.
Yeah, well, that'll be the next part of the adventure, I suppose. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Once you've got the show out of the way, obviously.
Once we've got the show out of the way, once Ross's dog bite heals and...
oh yes, another piece of breaking news feels inappropriate to say in that context, but...
breaking news.
Yeah, chomping news. So as and when you hear this, Ross, I hope that you're doing better and your hand is on the mend quickly. So
that's fine. We'll chop it off. We'll get him a drumstick attached to his wrist. That's all he needs.
Exactly.
What do you need a hand for? You're a drummer. It's fine.
Well, it's a snare or hat. That's gonna be if it's the hat hand. That's gonna be.
This is how bad of a friend I am. I can't remember which hand got bit.
Don't worry, I'll edit that bit out.
Thank you. Didn't need to say it, did I?
It's all good. I appreciate the honesty, though. Yeah. Cool. So thank you much for sharing those wins. So yeah, it's nice and nicely rolled it together. So hopefully hopefully this is momentum that will carry you forward. I really hope so.
Yeah, thank you.
So to the other side of the coin now, what was where do you want to start on the learns front?
The biggest learn that we ever had, I think, as a band was our US tour that we did a few years back, just before COVID. It was the most incredible experience of our lives so far, and it was really worth it. But it was the most stressful and the worst financial decision we ever made. We would do it again. We would do it again tomorrow. But we got offered one show in LA, and we were like, why don't we go on tour in America? Completely self-funded, self-promoted, self-booked. And it worked out. It did work out in the end. But my God, the hours that we spent in this room messaging every promoter in the whole of like the West Coast. I mean, like, please let us play. and we made it happen. Like, we made a tour out of it, and we it was okay. Like, it went okay. Like, there was a big variance. I mean, we played like dive bars in Vegas to not that many people, but we also played like a sold out Viper Rooms. So it was insane. It was great. We were all too young to drive, so we had to like take my partner with us to drive a car because we couldn't afford to hire a van. So we had to like fly over there, rent instruments while we were there, and we just filled the biggest car that we could afford with instruments and just drove around the West Coast.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a highly commendable thing. When I hear of bands like funding themselves around Europe, that's one thing, but
yeah.
I can imagine even if you're just on the West Coast, that's a lot of miles.
Yeah, it was so. We did LA to San Francisco to Vegas, back to LA, and like shows in between that. But it was like this big sort of triangle, I suppose. And yeah, it took years off our lives, but here we are.
Exactly, yeah.
And we have so many stories, and it got us into a lot of places because people are like, oh, you played in America, okay, cool. And we loved it. It was the best. We were there for 3 weeks, and it was the best.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Did you manage to get much of a holiday out of it? Was it all business?
It was pretty much all business, purely because America's massive. So when you're not playing, you're driving. We were doing like 10 hours of driving a day, playing a show, getting back in the car, driving a little bit longer. It was pretty brutal. We did have we had a day in Monterey where we seen some otters and like had coffee, and then we had like 3 hours there. That was great. And we had a day. We had a day on Venice Beach where we had like a picnic and stuff like that. So that was really nice. We were all so jet lagged. We were all completely burnt out from trying to book the tour. So, but yeah, it was still just great.
Awesome. Was that like okay, we booked it, we've arrived, let's chill for a minute?
A little bit. We got there, and it was the middle of the night, and then the next day we had the day off, and then the day after that it all just started. So, I mean, the day off that we had when we arrived, we had to go and, like, drive around, find somewhere that would let us rent instruments last minute. I think Lewis bought, like, a guitar on Craigslist because we were like, this is cheaper to just buy this random guitar and hope it works. We had to, like, pick up merch while we were there that we'd ordered previously to, like, just so we could try and, like, gather some money back. And, like,
absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
mental. Big learn as well. We really learned how to book shows. Like that was like, because we were DIY for so long that we had to learn how to book shows. Yeah. And we were already on that train, but doing that internationally, you really learn some tricks that you wouldn't have learned anywhere else. So
absolutely, and also with the factor of not just the distance but time zones and who's awake when.
Yeah, exactly. And even when you get there, you're on a different time zone. Like, the jet lag is so real. And you're so knackered, and you turned up to play shows and you just, like, haven't even eaten because I just can't stomach food. Yeah, it really was, like, the biggest learning curve in so many ways.
But like I say, from the sound of things, doing something that, let's be fair, that ridiculous.
Yeah.
All by yourself.
Oh, so silly.
Highly commendable. But yeah, definitely, I'm guessing that was kind of if you ever had any doubts about, are we a cohesive unit? Are we all on the same page? Yeah, we all flew to America and did a tour ourselves.
Yeah, and like we couldn't afford to like have separate rooms, and we all took our partners with us because we couldn't afford to have a crew, so we had to be like, can you please come with us and like carry gear and like watch the car and drive the car. So it was just like, it was like us three and our partners in one room in one car for 3 weeks. So we all just like lived in each other's pockets for the whole time. It was terrible.
Sounds like being a student a little bit.
Sounds like the only night that we had where we managed to get separate rooms was in a place called Barstow, in the worst hotel you've ever can imagine in your life. And it was so bad that none of us could, like, we were all like, let's just sleep in our clothes and we'll put all the clothes in a bag and that will stay until we get back to the UK in this bag. There was roaches. There was a fridge in the room that was just three sides of a fridge lent up against a wall.
Okay.
And we were like, that's your in-room fridge. There was like a door and two sides, no bottom, top or back.
And this was plugged in and on?
No.
Oh, okay,
No, it was just there. And we were all too scared to have showers. I was like, I don't want to turn the water on.
Yeah.
It was so that was the only time, and then after that, like, we were all just in one room again. We were like, this is just better.
We're safe again.
We'll just hunker down.
Excellent. Yeah, I had no idea about that. That's quite incredible. Fair play to all of you. So, and testament to on my little pilot, I talked quite a bit about. You don't get to be, married to as long as I haven't been with someone as long as I have without them being, 100% behind you. So.
Oh God, yeah, definitely. We're all very lucky, in that area because we have all put our partners through the most ridiculous things, and we constantly and still ask way too much because we can never afford the things that we want to do. Yeah. So we were always like, well, guess you guys are roped in.
Cool, you're now learning how to be a sound engineer.
Exactly. Like, do you want to be in endless music videos?
Oh, were they all? Were some of them the ghosts as well, or?
Yeah. Every video we've ever made. If there's people other than us, that's probably going to be one of our partners.
Awesome. Yeah. As I say, that is love right there. Fair play. Yeah. So, excellent. So, what's next on the?
The next learn was being DIY. Now, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. So, there's the learn of being DIY in terms of you learn how to be a very self-sufficient, well-oiled machine. You really learn the ins and outs of the industry at this level, and you really learn just how to keep cracking on going forward. You learn how to take a no. You learn how to turn a no into a yes. You learn so much from being DIY. And then on the flip side of that, you learn how much better it is when you have a really good team around you, and you learn the doors that it opens. And you just learn how much easier it is when you let go of some of the control, which we're three very controlling, micromanaging people when it comes to this. Not in general, but like the band's been our baby and our project for so long and we have been DIY for so long that we know the ins and outs of it. You care about it more than anyone else does. So we had to then learn, which is kind of a same learn, but we had to learn how to hand over that responsibility to a team of people and how to work with a team that's not just this weird group of three that's like can just like shout at each other and still be fine, and like you learn how to communicate and everything. And it's been great. It's been so good. Like we're like I said earlier, we've been signed to Silent Cult. They have been so good. I can't sing their praises enough. They've been the best label to work with. Especially for a small band. We've signed to a booking agent. We've got our manager Eric, who's been absolutely like lovely to work with as well. Like he's so great. It's great to just have somebody to even like the best thing is just having a sounding box who's outside of the three of us, where we go like, we're thinking of doing this, and he's an enabler as well. He'll be like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. But yeah, just having a team that we now have to kind of answer to has been really interesting and a massive learning curve as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Sounds like quite the operation you've got going now. So
yeah, and we're really enjoying it. We're loving it. It's felt like, again, like the level up of having more people involved has been really helpful and like really positive as well. As much as we've had to learn, like I say, we had to learn to hand over some of the responsibility and some of the jobs. Like, we're so used to doing everything ourselves. Yeah, it's been really nice. Like, because everybody that we've handed things over to so far has taken it and done it way better than we could ever have done it. So we've just been like, oh, okay, that's how you do that.
Well, hopefully that trend will continue then.
Yeah, the Major Press as well have been our press agency that we worked with through the EP, and they've been great as well. Really, really great. We've been very, very lucky on this release.
Excellent. So it sounds like a lot of people have come around at the same time.
All at once, yeah.
Did it end up being like, did someone say, oh, you might want to consider your most, or did you just go out and look for the people you wanted?
No, I mean, again, Aaron's had a really big part in all of this. He's really introduced us to a lot of people. And I mean, with this industry, a lot of the time, things are a domino effect. Once one thing goes, a load of other things follow, a lot of other doors open. I think that's kind of what's happened this time as well. Is just like, literally, like, once the traction starts going, like, it doesn't. If you keep stoking the fire, it doesn't stop. So that's why the industry is as exciting as it is, because you can fail at any time, but you can also get really lucky overnight, and that's really nice.
I suppose, to use your domino analogy a bit further, it's a case of you don't know which domino is going to be the one that's going to set everything else off. Yeah,
exactly. It could, I couldn't say it better, but yeah, it really is.
Fantastic. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and I apologise that this is a very cliche thing to ask a woman in a rock band, but have you found, like, any of the interactions you had, like with the tour, for example, you mentioned, or like this levelling up process you've been going, have you had any kind of interactions that, like, your interactions have been different to, say, Lewis and Ross's, or has there been less of that kind of in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, wow, I've never had this question. Yeah, since day one, they have been different. It's kind of what you shouldn't have to expect it, but it is what you expect.
Yeah.
So we've got to the point now where we do find it really funny, because, I mean, we've been doing this for a little while now. But also we just get the Paramore thing all the time, constantly, like, and I love Paramore. I'm a huge Paramore fan. But at the same time, like, have some imagination. Like, not every female fronted band is Paramore.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, like, we do get guys leaving unsavoury comments on our social medias, and you ignore it, and that's kind of it. And you get people. I mean, the one thing that I will always find annoying and always get really mad at is mansplaining, and I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I'm just like, yeah, okay, because I'm just like, just shut up, please. And I get that all the time, especially like anything to do with gear. And I never claim to know anything about gear. I don't know things about gear. Like, I'm learning how to like, I can make my own demos and stuff like that, but I've never claimed to be a sound tech.
Yeah.
So, but I will get spoken to in a completely different way to Lewis, who also doesn't claim to be a sound tech, and also doesn't know. I mean, he knows more about gear than me because he has a guitar.
Yeah.
I'm a vocalist, man. Like, like, I don't know what you want from me. Like, I'm a vocalist because I don't know things about gear. So yeah, it's there's definitely a difference. Yeah,
because the reason I wanted to bring it up is because it's like you say, it's one of those cliches that you. At this day and age especially, you shouldn't really kind of anticipate it, but it still unfortunately is a thing. But hopefully it's kind of less so, and particularly now you've got this group around you who are supporting you as a group rather than going. To use the Paramore example, it's nice that it's not being pushed as like, here's Maisie and then the rest of the band. It's a case of like, here is Edge on Dagger.
Absolutely, yeah, and we have...
The singer just happens to be a woman.
I'm a woman, get over it. Yeah, no, it's absolutely, like, it's not Maisie and the Daggers, it's Edge on Dagger, and
It's got a ring to it though.
Maisie and Daggers, that's my solo project.
Yeah.
It's announced here and now.
Awesome. All the breaking news
so
today.
much. That's not real, by the way. But yeah, we're a three-piece as well. There's not. I mean, I suppose Paramore became a three-piece as well, so maybe we are Paramore. But yeah, it's very much we are like one unit. It's not just me and two dudes.
Yeah.
It's, we are a collective. So.
Oh, and as I learned at the HMV show, obviously the all-important fourth member, the backing tracks.
The backing tracks, yeah. I was like, what did you learn at HMV? We all learn a lot at HMV. Yeah, the backing tracks, because we're all really in love with like synthy sounds, and we really love having strings and drama, and when you don't have a budget for an orchestra, the only way that you can do that is via the backing track.
Yeah. But I love that at the gig because for context for people listening, when Edge on Dagger did their little HMV in-store show in the High Street, they asked me to come and do sound for it, which was very nice. The backing track was referred to prestigious as the fourth band member, so I wanted to give it the tip of the cap as well. So
yeah, we should start putting it in pictures. It's just Ross's iPad.
Just you hugging it.
Just, there we go. It's in the music videos now.
Fantastic. Cool. So, was there anything else you wanted to chat about? Any other kind of topics you wanted to cover at all, or?
I don't think so. Everybody should come to Leadmill.
Absolutely.
On the 24th. It's going to be the biggest emo pop punk theatre night of the year. Best goth night of the year, that's what we're telling everyone. And just listen to Songs to Fight the Gods 2 a million times until you don't want to hear it ever again.
I'm getting close to that, so...
good.
Well,
Good.
a million times bit, not the not once.
No, well then you're not doing enough.
Okay, I'll put in the work, I promise.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time this evening. It's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
And nice to have a peek at the Edge on Dagger HQ, the dojo.
Yeah, it's great. There's loads of Roman columns, there's a hot tub, and a mini fridge.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you again for your time, and thank you very much for everyone listening. The feedback from the first episode was fantastic, and I really appreciate it. So any thoughts, comments, and keep the inappropriate comments to yourself if there's anything regarding...
Yeah.
Exactly. We're not having that.
Gross.
So thank you again for your time. Thank you very much for everyone for listening. Again, my name's Paul of PGS Music. You've been listening to Win or Learn, and we will see you for the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.